RC from the Mountaintop Joiner Shop here. This installment of my 5 P's of furniture design series is going to be palette and projection. Now if you're the kind of person that likes to learn things in order, you might want to go watch the introduction to this video series first. It makes pretty good sense, I think. With all that said, here is palette. Have you ever seen a keepsake box someone posted online in which it appeared that person just went to their scrap bin and cleared out every species of wood they ever worked with and put it into one small project? How did that look? Here's some tips for how not to be that guy. Here's some tips about palette. The question of palette largely has to do with the question of which materials you use to build a given piece and how to use them in a logical way. As discussed earlier, it helps to take stock of the piece's intended surroundings. What colors do you see? Are the tones generally warm, brown, tans, reds, golds, etc.? Or cool, black, white, or grayscale? If black, white, warmer, I might go for similarly warm-toned woods like cherry or walnut. If the latter, I might go with white oak or maple and finish it with a waterborne finish that goes on without ambering the color, or perhaps ebonized walnut. Palette also refers to being thoughtful about the number of different materials that get used in one piece. Generally speaking, it's better if you can count them on one hand. Making an end table, especially an uncomplicated one, from 8 different wood species generally doesn't yield a pleasing result. Also, some woods play well with each other while others don't. I particularly like how cherry and some dark chocolatey walnut complement each other, but I can't imagine a scenario in which I would use cherry with white oak. Some woods, I'm looking at you, Purple Heart, don't go well with much of anything. Simpler designs lend themselves to fewer materials, while more ornate ones logically allow for more. Things like mixed media or marquetry expand the number of materials that can be used tastefully even further. My wall mirror, which is ornate and designed by today's standards, uses cherry, walnut, ebonized walnut, copper, leather, and handmade paper. I chose a limited number of materials early on in the process and stuck to them throughout. Had I made the drawer pulls brass while all the other shiny bits in the piece are copper, or used polished stainless steel hinges for the doors instead of black, the results would have been distracting at best and clearly would have run afoul of good taste, not to mention logical sense. What's more visually appealing to you? A 3D movie or a regular movie? A pop-up book or a regular book? Well, unless you have trouble with depth perception, the answer is undoubtedly the former in both cases, and the reason for that is projection. You may have noticed examples of period furniture styles in decorative arts museums that are practically covered in moldings. Why is this? Design elements that stand proud or recess from the face of a piece of furniture take advantage of light and shadow to create visual interest. Ambient light plays off the projection in a piece, producing shadow lines, and these shadow lines can add a great deal of visual interest to a piece that may otherwise be little more than a box on 4 legs. Now consider that same molding-laden period piece sitting in a room prior to the invention of indoor electric lighting. The piece may be subject to raking light from the winter sun through a nearby window. As the sun arcs low across the sky, the moldings cast shadow lines that change throughout the day. It may look quite different at 9 a.m. than at 1 p.m. and again at 4 p.m. It may look even more different once the sun sets and the candles are lit. The presence of shadow lines takes the appearance of an otherwise static, stationary object and effectively makes its appearance a dynamic one. These shadow lines not only create visual interest in the immediate moment, but they also change depending on the intensity and location of the light source that's illuminating it. Of course, moldings aren't the only way to accomplish this effect. In the case of early period styles, it was also done with elaborate carving. Some styles achieve this effect through neither carving nor moldings. Green and Green did it with exposed joinery, through tenons, pillowed ebony splines and plugs, inset drawer fronts, faux strapping, breadboard ends thicker than the top to which they are attached. The list goes on. Even so, modern styles, decidedly Spartan in their lack of ornamentation, will still make use of an overhanging top or textured surfaces. This is all due to the positive effect of shadow lines produced by projection. Now, if you like what you saw here, please hit like and subscribe. It would help me out a lot. Also, hit the little bell icon if you want to be notified whenever I release a new video. And if you didn't like what you saw here, keep it to yourself, pal. Or check out one of my other videos. You might like one of those. Thank you for watching.